The more that you dig into Ella P. Stewart's history and background, she was so much more than just the first African-American female to graduate from the School of Pharmacy, so much more than a pharmacist. She did incredible things and worked on behalf of civil rights for women of color and for black people.
At some point we had brought up the fact that Ella P. Stewart had graduated from the University of Pittsburgh, and she was one of the first black female pharmacists licensed in the state, I think in America. And it was just kind of oh, okay, I've never heard of her before. And I mean, the next day, I think Marina had found an Instagram post, and she was like, "Have you seen this? Have you seen this?" And I was like, yeah, I just heard about it the other day. And it kind of just blew up into this oh, no one's ever talked about her.
So one of the reasons Ella P. Stewart was forgotten about was because black women tend to be forgotten about in history, and someone forgot about me on a piece that I worked hard on with my peers as well. So that was the moment for me that was oh, this needs to be talked about more within Pittsburgh, within Pitt, within the School of Pharmacy, to recognize black women.
It's so easy to bury things in archives, and they thought that this was something that was worthwhile, that was important, not just for the School of Pharmacy, but for the whole University of Pittsburgh, that they wanted to do the work that they were doing, and they knew there were certain barriers that they would have to break through and certain pressures that they would have to endure in order to accomplish that, in order to open up the door for others.
And I definitely think that knowing about her has made me feel more comfortable with doing pharmacy. And so it's nice to know that it's Ella P. Stewart did not fit the mold, and she was better for it. And so I'm excited to not fit the mold and hopefully be better for it.
To describe that.
Diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging is absolutely critical to our current state as well as our future. And I really envision those values and principles just being embedded in our culture.
So it's really nice to walk into a classroom and see people who look like you, or even see people who might have the same experience as you. Even just having higher up faculty like Dean Brown, having him around, it's fantastic, because it's so nice to know that there is somebody up the totem pole who I can go to for help, who's willing to hear me out, who's willing to just hear my ideas and what's going on with me in my day-to-day. And I really appreciate that.
So when I heard about Ella P. Stewart, she was the first person I texted. We both kind of had the idea, we also have to teach other people about this so that other black women, when they come into pharmacy school, know about Ella P. Stewart. This is something that the pharmacy school should be representing and they should be proud of.
She had called me up and she was like, let's put something together. And so we had basically made a list of just how we wanted her to be honored and how we wanted Ella P. Stewart to be known from now on moving forward.
It's one of the professors, Dr. Grieve, from when I was a first-year pharmacy student, she has always told us that the students' voices are one of the loudest voices within the School of Pharmacy, and it's actually true. I'm proof of that. Yes, it's actually true. So to know that they were actually listened to us, took a meeting with us, little old Baxter and I, and was able to think of these ideas and think that they were good ideas enough to put their time and resources and energy into it, it makes me feel very happy and proud to be a part of the School of Pharmacy.
I inherited the opportunity to take this project across the finish line in dedicating the portrait as well as the space to honor Ella P. Stewart as the first black female pharmacist. And what an honor to be able to celebrate that legacy and to have our students involved and Mario Brown involved and Pat Crow both, all so passionate about honoring this genuine legacy.
For the grays, now come in and start very lightly.
To do the portrait is a gentleman right here from Pittsburgh, a black artist who does phenomenal work with his hands. He uses pastel, and we thought that something capturing not only the image of Ella P. Stewart, but something that could also overlay and underlay historical pieces and the connection, all the many ways that she has served the black community in her lifetime would be a great way to actually honor her.
I was honored that he would ask me. And then I met his dean, and then I met a couple of the students, and we came together and put a composition piece together. When I get commission work or someone asks me to do something, I always do the research because I want to get a sense of who the person is, what did they do, what they contribute, their history and their background. And she's done a lot of wonderful things in her lifetime. So what I'll do, I'll go in here and look at this area here. I always start with the eyes. The eyes would tell the story.
Like, we were talking to the artist, Douglas, he's so talented. He gave us that concept work, and I was like, this is amazing.
It is such a high, such a rush, such a humbling experience that they chose me. You know, when I do work, if it touches one person and they can relate to it, I know I've done my job.
So I imagine him just beaming with pride as he unveils this.
I'm more so just excited that future students will see and know who Ella P. Stewart is and was, and they won't have to have that same shock that Rena and I did. It'll just be like, oh yeah, this is Ella P. Stewart, she's an alumni, she's one of the distinguished alums, she's on our distinguished alum list, we know her very well. If you walk through any hospital, you'll see like these huge portraits of like the men and women who kind of shaped that foundation for whatever institution you're in. And so I think it's really cool that Ella P. Stewart will have that same effect in the School of Pharmacy. So there's going to be a portrait of her with symbols and aspects to the work that she's done throughout her lifetime to like represent how she's part of the foundation for the school, how she's built the reputation of the University of Pittsburgh School of Pharmacy.
Because I think representation matters, and I think it's important for our students of color to actually see me and others in the hallways and in the classroom.
This is so exciting.
Oh, we're so excited as well. Thank you.
I feel excited, relieved, excited.
You haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
For the most part, I go ahead maybe like.
Oh, that's a cute one.
I feel like this is nothing that I could have imagined. Like, this is like more than I hoped for.
Yeah.
Like, I thought we would be doing this in the
And
background.
it's so nice to share this with like the faculty and like our friends from class. Like, it's nice to see them here. Like,
Yeah,
it's really sweet.
yeah.
It has inspired me so much. And I am so excited for everyone to see this portrait. I'm so excited and honored to have it in Pitt School of Pharmacy.
1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness! Aww.
Today, we are celebrating the pioneering legacy of Ella P. Stewart.
She's one of the first Black female pharmacists in the nation. She was a civil rights activist. She was in the Hall of Fame, and she has a school dedicated in her name. She is the definition of true professionalism, someone who constantly is fighting for better. Ella P. Stewart's name should never die.
She embodies the resilience and the strong efforts women of color in particular have had to fight against to come up and achieve their dreams.
Her life and legacy and what it means to us, we're reminded that it is greatly connected to the history of the University of Pittsburgh, but more broadly, the history of African Americans in this country. And that we understand that we stand on her shoulders and we are all beneficiaries of her legacy.
Innovation and metamorphosis are to be this university's hallmarks. Then let it be led by one of the Northeast's best pharmacy schools. A pharmacy school that produces historic alumni, honors its history, and rectifies its current and past mistakes. Her story acts as a beacon to anyone who believes they don't fit the mold.
Ed Gainey, Mayor of the City of Pittsburgh, do hereby proclaim March 21st, 2023 as Ella P. Stewart Day in the City of Pittsburgh. Congratulations. So I'm going to give this to you too.
And this day in the City of Pittsburgh will forever be known by and as and for Ella P. Stewart.
With each new person who walks into this new room, sees her portrait, hears her name, Dr. Stewart's will continue to be reborn.
We have a motto, we are small but mighty, but I think the fact that we are celebrating Ella P. Stewart today, we have just become even mightier.
This is to you, Miss Ella P. Stewart, and to her remarkable students over here who brought her to life to us. Give it up for them. Come on.
2, 3.
They did such an amazing job bringing Ella P. Stewart's legacy to life, and I just couldn't be prouder of them.
Surreal.
Yeah, it's definitely floating. I think it's the fact that like I'm sitting next to it and I'm like, oh, it's done. And I'm like, oh, I can't really think about the fact that it's been literally years for us to get here.
The effort put into this celebration was just phenomenal. That it grew from the students' passion, that Baxter and Rena just took this inspiration and created today's event.
Their passion for pharmacy and for advocacy and equity, equal rights, social justice is so influential on me, and it makes me want to be a better person too.
Never a better time than now, and I'm so happy that it has happened, that we now can honor her legacy in a much more public way.
It was so exciting to celebrate this legacy, this pioneering pharmacist, Ella P. Stewart. What an amazing day.
It really speaks to their consciousness. For them to actually do the research and then move the agenda forward, I think shows their leadership, but it shows their connection to and their appreciation for how they even arrived where they are today. And I'm happy that they are happy that we are actually doing that. Because to me, this is as much about these two young African-American black females in the School of Pharmacy pursuing their PharmD and recognizing the path that was paved by Ella P. Stewart. Cannot give enough kudos to those two students. And I just know that they're going to do their own trailblazing in their own right. They already are. And so we look for them to do great things.